We appreciate you guys being here, okay? So I just want to ask you something real quick. How many people have seen the movie Rocky? Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3? See, I've lived them. I've lived every single Rocky. I have them on DVD, I have them on VHS, I have them on Blu-ray. And I just want to mention that my favorite Rocky is Rocky 3. And the reason my favorite reason is Rocky 3 is that's when Rocky got afraid. And if you remember, Adrian said to him, what's going on? What's going on? Because Rocky didn't have the will to fight. He says, I'm afraid because I got something to lose. And then finally he woke up. And then there's a scene, I think it's in Rocky 3, it might be in Rocky 4. Yeah, it's in Rocky 3. And Apollo Creed is asking Paulie what's going on with Rocky. Remember what he said? He's getting mad. He's getting mad. Just like Chris said, we got to get mad, right? If we don't get mad, if we don't rise up, nothing's going to happen. So, in response to the government's virtual party at Parliament Hill, we are going to be there. Some of us are going to be there. There's going to be a minimum of 5,000 people there. And a gentleman by the name of Norman Traversy, you may have seen him on YouTube. He's taken Justin Trudeau to court. And never in the history of Canada has anybody ever taken a prime minister while they're in power to court. He has two ex-RCMPs writing up documents, legal documents, dotting their I's and crossing the T's, and we are going to march from Parliament Hill a few blocks over to the U.S. Embassy and hand that to the U.S. Embassy people. The reason we're doing that is on July 1st, the free trade agreement is done, and something called the, I believe it's the MBSA. Right, what is it? Yeah, USMB, whatever she said. Anyway, it's an agreement between Mexico, the U.S., and Canada. And that agreement says that the U.S. government cannot do business with any other country that has charges against it. So that means that the FBI is going to have to investigate our government. So I know not everybody can make the trip, and we want people here, but if you can be there, be there. And I just want to leave you with one story. If I can. It's from the Good Book. And there's a gentleman by the name of Mordecai who was a Jew. And at the time, the Jews were oppressed by a people, and Esther, his niece, had become the queen. A man by the name of Haman was the right-hand man to the king, and he wanted to destroy the Jews. He wanted to destroy them. And he had this plan, and they had all these gallows set up to hang the Jews. But Mordecai said to Esther, you need to speak to the king. And she went with fear and trepidation to speak to the king, because in those days, you don't just walk up and talk to the king. You have to have him put his rod down and give you the okay. And Mordecai said, how do you know that you're not born for such a time as this? And I'm saying to you, how do you know that you're not the one that's born for such a time as this? And the rest of the story goes that Esther held a banquet, and she got the king's ear. And the king listened, and the king decided to hang Haman and his 10 sons instead. So the very weapon that the enemy had used to try and destroy the Jews was used against themselves. And I want to tell you that because the thing that they've been using against us is this lockdown. But see, they would have got away with it if they hadn't locked us down. Yeah. But the problem is they locked us down, they shut down our sports, they shut down our entertainment, and guess what we're all doing? We're all finding out the truth. Yeah. And what happens when you know the truth? When you know the truth sets you free, and we're rising up to a movement that is going to hold it back, and they're going to wish they had never locked us down in the first place. Have a great day. See you in Ottawa.